But for the most part, I feel like I was a human doing instead of a human being this year. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I know it's the end of the year, but if you're new here, welcome. Better late than never. If you're returning, thank you for returning. So today I just want to talk, well, I guess this will be my like chit chat and whatever, but I want to talk about the year and how everything went, how I feel about my own channel and my own life. I won't get so deep into it because it's not that serious, but essentially I'm going to be doing like a little review of this whole entire year and how I really felt about the year so far. So while I do that, I'm really just going to be finishing my box braids because it needs to be done before Christmas, which is tomorrow. So I need it to be done before then. I just felt like I was just doing so much, like every time I look, there was no like rest. I was just next, like just a human doing instead of a human being, and I don't like that. It's all cool to move, but sometimes it just be too much sometimes. But the beginning of the year did start off a little rough. I'm not even gonna lie, it did start off a little rough, but it started to get itself together. Then boom, I moved. I'm not gonna lie, I could not even have predicted that. Like, it wasn't on like my, oh, next year I want to move type of thing. Like, if you follow me on Instagram or even Snapchat, or if you even watch like some of my previous videos, you'll clearly see the difference in the room. Like, so about February, no, I officially moved to Jersey in March. Into a house, you know, I've been living in apartment buildings all my life, so this was definitely like a different move for me, because when you lived in NYCHA, ghetto apartment buildings, I really have to do a video about surviving NYCHA buildings, because when you live in those buildings and you move to a house, it's like a dramatic difference. And then when you move from New York to a place like New Jersey, and it's not like I'm like closer to New York City, I'm far away from New York City. Like I'm like an hour and a half away from New York City, so that's pretty far. One day I'm driving, I'm like, cows? Is that a horse? Then you see a lot of like crops and all that type of stuff. Like, you do not see that in New York City. Like, I think I'm running out of here. Like, you don't see that in New York City. Like, you don't just walk around and just see a bunch of crops and cows and all those type of things. You just don't. So just looking at that, that was like, ooh, yikes. Like, I don't know if I want to be looking at cows and things of the sort. But, and then the lights up here, like, New York City is stop, stop, stop. But up here, the speed limit is 45. So I'm always doing 50. And you don't really come across that many lights. Some stop signs, if even, but the next light won't be for like 2, 3, 5 minutes, even up to 10 minutes. There's barely any lights up here. So I'm just like, wow, that's very, like, when I drive down to New York City, one block light, light. I'm like, all right, the parking is great up here. Since, you know, I do live in a house now, I don't have to worry about looking for parking, because oh my goodness, the parking anxiety I get. You don't realize how much anxiety it is to find parking until you go back to having to find parking. I know where I'm gonna park. I don't have to circle around the block. I don't have to do any of that. I know where I'm gonna park, and it's not a far walk to get to the door after I park. You know what I'm saying? So that's great. What about, you see more greens? Like, you see a lot of trees. I feel like the air is fresher. It's not crowded or anything like that. But the only downside is, like, I haven't made any friends up here. And like, imagine, I feel like it's already hard to make friends as an adult, but then you have to like And it's not like New York City where you could be walking on the street, you're just gonna bump into people. Like, everybody essentially drives out here. You're not gonna catch people walking anywhere. If you catch anybody, it's in a grocery store, in Target, Walmart, like in some type of store. So it's not like you're just randomly walking to people. And I feel like the people are a little bit more friendly, because when we first moved out here, I remember the neighbor, she came to the door. I'm looking like, how can I help you? She's like, hi, I'm the new neighbor, and introduced herself and her little daughter. I'm like, they do that here? They actually go. She's like, oh, hey. Back to friendships. But that was cool. But as far as friendship, I haven't made any like actual friends. Like, you know, I see my coworkers, but they're not my friend. You know what I'm saying? They aren't my friends. And yeah, so I haven't made that one friend up here. So it's been 8 months. I don't have any friends up here. Not one. But that's cool. By God's grace, next year I'll have one up here. Not just, I have friends, just so we're clear. I have friends, just not up here. But that's that with the moving situation. The backyard is big, you know, a lot of barbecuing. Like, they didn't do that living in NYCHA apartment buildings, aka the hood. I did not do that. Like, what is a backyard? I only seen that on television, which is crazy. You see other people's backyards, but for yourself, like, it's just a different story. Studio. I know some of y'all live in houses, so you can't relate, which is great, but now I can see Wagwan. But moving, you know, I really took a jump with that moving thing. Like, I knew that I didn't have any friends up here. It's so far, it's not even like I can just I could do it, but that 3-hour drive round trip could be a bit much, and it's expensive with gas, especially when I moved. That's when gas prices were like up to here, and it just wasn't it. But I'm one of those people, like, I don't necessarily need people around me frequently. I enjoy my own company, so it doesn't really bother me that much, especially since I know that I can go see my friends and we can hang out when we want to hang out and whatever. So I don't really stress it too much. But I do at least want one friend up here. That would be nice. So let's talk about work. That one been real interesting and difficult. That one is difficult. I think finding work, keeping work has been tough for me this whole entire year, because when I moved, I was working at Amazon. I completed my certificate for a medical assistant. Woo woo, excited about that. Trying to find a job. I did find a job in New York City, but then I had to move, so I didn't have to, but I decided to move. And so I would drive up here like once or twice a week. It was very annoying trying to find jobs. Eventually I went to a bunch of interviews and I got hired at this derm office, and I was very excited about the job. But a few months in, the excitement died dramatically. Like, I would go to work and I would just sit in the parking lot like, bro, I really, really don't want to be here right now. Like, I don't want to walk in there. I don't want to be there. And then they did one thing that I just could not even believe. I just could not even get over. And was about breaks. Like, essentially, lady was like, they got a new provider, and okay, cool, her schedule is completely different from the provider that I was originally working with, since her schedule was different, she didn't have a break. I would like to get into the whole detail of it, but I don't want this video to be too long. But now, if this was like a sit down at a desk type of job, I would totally wouldn't mind, and I could sneak my little food at my desk and it wouldn't really matter. But that wasn't that type of job. Like, I was literally on my feet the whole entire time. I never sat down. I was in and out with the patients and all that type of stuff. So to not have a break to even rest a little bit was insane to me. And then they did some other things, like they always put new, like even before the old provider left, we were barely getting breaks anyways, because they will open the 11:50 slot. Each patient is supposed to technically have like 10 minutes with the provider. So if they open the 11:50 slot and our break is at 12, it's a 15-minute grace period, so that'll be until 12:05. The patients would come late. They were always new patients, because they said they don't discriminate against what type of patients go into the slot, but it just so happens to always be new patients. And like, now that I'm talking about it, I actually feel like pressure in my brain, because that's how frustrating it was for me. Like, you say that you don't discriminate, but these are new patients all the time. That doesn't make any sense. Sounds like discrimination to me. You put new patients there, and when new patients come in, they have to do the intake. They have to do all that. Takes time, is what I'm saying. Long story short, we barely ever got a break before that situation, and now there's no break entirely. It's like, then the other girl, she was like, oh, we'll alternate and do this and that. And I'm like, or they can put it in a schedule. But that's not even the part that really like hit me. She was like, the provider doesn't want any breaks, but she was like, if you look at the employee handbook, and guess what I did? I looked at the employee handbook, and she was wrong. For every 6 hours, you're supposed to have at least a 15-minute, right? And New Jersey, one thing I realized about Jersey, they don't give breaks. The state itself isn't required to give a break, but because of the company I was working for, it's a New York City company technically, but they own places in New Jersey. And in their employee handbook, it says nationwide. So this is not because of Jersey, it's because the company itself gives 15-minute break for every 6 hours that you work. So she was wrong, but by the time I was like, I'm not gonna fight it, because at the end of the day, I was the only one standing up. Like, there was only 3 of us working there, really. There was only 3 of us, 2 MAs and the front desk. There was another front desk, but she alternate. And I was like, okay, like, these people are older than me, and it's like, I really have to think about it. I'm like, okay, they have way more to lose than I do. Like, they have a family to feed, but at the end of the day, like, these are not people who just started working here like I have. They literally have more power than I do to make changes. And it's not like I'm asking you to give me a raise. Like, I'm asking for basic human as a break. And they was like, that's too much. You're asking for too much. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not about to fight it. And what was even more annoying for me was that they were complaining too. Oh, you know, they were complaining too, but nobody would say anything. I'm like, why complain when we can just say what it is? Like, but nobody said anything. So I don't know if I left, and I don't know if they ever like situated that whole thing, but I just couldn't deal with that. And then there was other girls who would come to the office because, let's say, we're like low staff that day. I mean, I always went to work, but so it wasn't like I ever really took off. But one of the girls was like, yeah, in my other office, because it's the same company, but they have like different offices. So she was like, yeah, in my office, we barely ever get a break. We have to eat on the go. And while she's saying that, all I'm thinking in my head is like, do you think that's healthy? No, for real. She's like, yeah, I always could barely get a bite. I just had to eat on the go. And I'm looking at her like, you look like you have to eat on the go. Like, no disrespect, but you do look like you have to. You look unhealthy. You look very stressed, really. And it's just sad because it's like, this is not a hospital. Let's be honest here. You know what I'm saying? There's not a hospital that is really, and I'm not saying we're not saving lives, but we're not saving immediate lives. Like, people, it's a derm office, bro. Majority of people are not coming for life altering reasons. You know what I'm saying? Some people, I just thought like the break thing was just very inhumane, and it really struck me hard because like I like to eat and I need to eat. I need a break at work. Like, it's very essential for me. Like, that's top priority when I look at a job. So I end up leaving. I found another job. I like this job. It comes with its own problems, but it's not really the job is a problem. It's just like scheduling issues. But I like the job, and that's that. So I'm happy I found a job that I like. And then with this job, I've been there for 4 months. I don't go in the parking lot and say, hey, I want to go. I don't have that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so something was definitely off about that place that I can sense, but I just didn't know what it was. And there's just still more to it, but I'm not even gonna, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to bash it. Finances. This was the first time. Is that a sweat? Yikes. This was the first time I really realized that I wasn't using my finances correctly. Like, moving, having to buy like all new sets and this, that, and the third. I wasn't managing my finances correctly, buying a lot of outside food, traveling back and forth to and from New York when the gas prices were indeed crazy. All that really took a toll to the point where my finances just wasn't where I wanted it to be at all. So because of that, like, my finances was really rocky up until, to be honest, up until ending of October, beginning of November is when I finally stopped getting those you're below, you know, when the bank saying you're below a certain amount, because my bank is below, if I'm below $100 in my checkings account, like it keeps sending me that notification. And then I had a lot of large credit card by the end of every month, because I pay off my credit card by the end of the month. I don't leave any balance. This is how I grow my credit to 775. But man, it was so hard to maintain that because things needed to get paid for. Bills just started coming out of nowhere. Like, even now, I'm trying to do better, and then boom, out of nowhere, Easy Pass. 65 cents go to $50.65. Like, I have to call these people, but financially, I would say it's been a struggle this year. I'm not even gonna lie. With inflation, yeah, but it's the end of the year. They're getting back together because I'm realizing, you know, you can't spend anyhow like this. You can't just on a whim go purchase this, that, and the third. So yeah, financially I definitely did struggle this year, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm doing better and I'm happy about that. Oh yeah, I bought a sewing machine. That was definitely like a good part of this year. Like, I bought a sewing machine. I always wanted a sewing machine. I just didn't prioritize it. But one day I paid off all my credit cards at the beginning of the month. I was like, you know what? I asked my friend where she got her sewing machine from, and I went to Walmart. I bought the sewing machine. I bought all these things, and I made my top. That was my first project. I have not touched that sewing machine since. I've been trying to make pants, doing the pattern, and I definitely want to get back into sewing and doing that. The camera did go off, so that was that. I just used that time to finish my hair. Finally done. I haven't put it in hot water, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm too tired after I spend most of the time doing my makeup anyways. But let's get back into this chit chat. Accomplishments. I feel like I accomplished enough. You know what I'm saying? I started accomplishing some of the things that when I finished the certificate, I started my prereqs, I got a new job and whatever. So as far as accomplishments, I feel like I reached a certain goal, and then I also got to a point of understanding where I realized that there's certain things I was doing that was hindering me from doing what I really want to do and doing what I am supposed to be doing. So I think that was the greatest accomplishment of this whole entire year, discovering more about myself and being more self-aware about the things that I'm doing and along those lines. But as far as the emotions go, my emotions was all over the place this year, completely all over the place. I can't even say that it was sturdy. I think that's the most emotionally unstable I've been in my whole entire life. But it's good to know that I actually have emotions, because I really was like a little suspicious about that one. As far as my YouTube channel goes, all you people that watch, I appreciate you 100%. And this year I have gotten, I feel like towards the end of the year, I started seeing like approximately 100 subscribers a month. So I was definitely happy about that. So I'm not gonna give up on my YouTube channel, because sometimes, you know, you're not seeing growth and stuff like that. Is very, very discouraging, believe it or not. But I try not to put, you know, all my emotions in places that it does not belong. But I would say, like, discovering why you're even making a YouTube channel is definitely helpful, because I finally realized why I'm making the YouTube channel. This is my personal documentary, right? So, okay, we're all gonna one day. So I just want this, you know, this is something my family can have when I'm because I don't know what type of words I'm allowed to use and what words I'm not allowed to use. But, and also when I grow older, God willing, I want to look back and watch a video like this and be like, wow, I remember when I was this age, and I remember the type of thoughts that I thought. So that's the purpose of my YouTube channel. Like, because one, I'm not going to tell you I'm about to be doing hair videos in all my channels. My channel's not about vlogs only. I like a bunch of different things, I'm not going to lie. Like hair is cool, but I like to do other things as well. I guess I don't show them on this channel too much, but I just don't want to be stuck to one thing when that's not me. But then I feel like when you stick to one thing, people follow you for that reason. And then it's like, you're stuck in that box. But I don't want to be stuck in that box. I just want to be able to do what I want to do. I want to do it freely. That's why I don't put all my heart into whether a video is succeed or not, because clearly if you go on my page, you can see majority of the hair videos are the videos that's popping. But I know that's not what I want to do, and I don't want to not be who I am because I want to get a certain amount of views and stuff like that. I want to get views because of who I am and not because of one specific part of me. You know what I'm saying? But I guess hopefully I'll continue to stay true to myself, but I'll keep posting some hair videos, but I'm not gonna make it my channel, if you guys get what I'm trying to say. So, but either way, I'm happy for the growth. I was hoping to hit 1,000 at least by the end of this year. It happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll still see next year, right? Yeah, what are some things that I realized about myself this year? One, I am problematic. Yes, I realize I'm very problematic. And I don't like when, I don't think anybody dislikes when things don't go their way, but I don't like when things, like when people are being treated bad, especially me. And especially like I noticed that in like workplaces, my mouth is a little sharp, or I would speak up more than the other people who are complaining about the exact same thing I'm complaining about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I noticed that I'm problematic. Two, I don't have enough self-control and self-discipline in certain areas that I really need it in, like my finances. I definitely need it in that. So with that being said, like, I was like, yo girl, you kind of, I don't know if problematic and stubborn go together, but if they do, Unfortunately, it might be me. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it might be me. That's one thing I noticed for myself. I also noticed that I'm not balanced enough. Like, I feel like I lean so much one way, lean so much another way. So I need to create like a balance in my life. I would just be, oh no, I'm focusing on school, and that would be my excuse not to edit on time, or like go to the gym, or like I said, within my day, instead of doing like multiple things and timing myself properly, I would just do one thing. And it's like, I'm not a big fan of multitasking, but you can cut out your day so that you're able to do a variety of things and get multiple things done, but in like a specific amount of time. So I feel like I just lean one way or the other. So finding that balance within myself is definitely something that I need to do. I'm starting to feel more like myself, like even doing my hair. Before, I feel like for the last 2 years, I just stopped doing my hair. Like, if it wasn't, I was so focused on being natural and growing my hair. Oh my gosh, I forgot I permed my hair this year too. That's another thing I did. Wow, yes. You know what? Despite the up and downs of this year, it wasn't, I feel like it was like a 50-50. It wasn't like the worst year ever. You know, it felt like it sometimes, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it was the best either. But I moved, I permed my hair, I got a new job, and the only bad things I can say was just not being able to control myself with my finances. That's what got me in a lot of trouble this year. But I'm optimistic that next year we're gonna do the thing, man. We're gonna do the thing. Like, I'm actually proud of myself. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm proud of myself, because would I have moved like to another state where I knew nobody, still don't know anybody, really, start a whole new job? I don't know, but I'm gonna say it, next year is gonna be a good year. The spiritual, my spiritual life, that one. I know I'm still a Christian, but it's been hard, it's been difficult. I have come to a point where it's like, I don't want to say I want more, because God is like, one more. I feel like I was so stuck in like a routine of read my Bible, pray every day, but it just became a routine. Like, it wasn't like, it's just something I do. Like, you wake up and you brush your teeth. And I feel like it was losing its pizzazz for me and stuff like that. And I even watched this video on TikTok about how it could become a routine. Mind you, I literally just watched it yesterday. I was like, yes, this is me. This is me right now. Like, it's just been like the same old for years. And I feel like I got to a point where it's like, God, I'm not like actively living in sin or anything like that. So it's like, and when you're not living in sin and you have a lot of peace in your life, sometimes I feel like, boo. Sometimes it can just feel like, but I'm not even going to, because I don't want problems. I don't want problems at all. But, you know, they come anyways. But I feel like this year I wasn't completely putting my trust in God, and I was really trying to do everything. That's why I said in the beginning of this video, I felt more like a human doing instead of a human being. You know what I'm saying? You know the story with Martha and Mary, when they're in the house and Martha is cooking all the food, serving everybody, doing this, that, and the third, and then Mary is just at Jesus' foot. Yes, Mary at Jesus' foot. And Martha's like, Jesus, you don't see me doing all this? And Martha's sitting over there relaxing, chilling. Yeah, Martha was a human doing instead of being a Mary and being a human being and being God's presence. So I just felt like that was like, because I recently read that and I was just like, I don't want to be Martha at all. I want to be where Mary is. That's where I want to be. So like nowadays I just try to step back, because I feel like I know I'm like one of those people who want to control everything. So I've been having to step back a little bit, but I could do more. See, I doing again. I can allow myself to submit more to the Holy Spirit and whatnot. So that's definitely something I've been doing, and just being patient, obedient, and putting my faith and trust in God, because you can't say that you're a Christian and then you're doing the most and not putting your trust and all that type of stuff. Like, doesn't make any sense. So that's been that for the year. Dating. That's it. That's all I have for dating. There's nothing more. I'm actually on sabbatical. Wrong term, I'm not using it right, I know, but it's just like the best way. Like, I feel like saying a break is not even enough. I'm on sabbatical. So I've been taking this break for, hasn't been that long actually, but I remember I told this guy at work that I was on sabbatical, like a dated sabbatical. He came up to me like, hey, sabbatical. I'm like, dang, you hurt or something? Like, relax. I'm not giving out my number. So as far as dating, I'm not doing that right now. I'm taking a little break. I need it. So I was just like, you know what? It's not that deep. But I hope God don't let that man pass by me. The one for me, not the others. That's like that, not the others. But be able to discern. And also I want to say, like, in the dating world right now, like, I feel like my discernment is, I just thank God. It's just so, like, I don't want to say a point, because it could be, I don't want to say it's on point, but it's like, and God is like, I don't even need to ask that much questions. I asked 1-2 questions. I got everything I need to know. You know what I'm saying? And the most important things that I need to know, at least. So as far as that, I'm not gonna complain about it, because it's not that deep, and we move on. Once you shut up and listen, you get all the answers that you need. So doing those 2 things, prayer and shut up and listen, you get everything that you need to know. But comment down below how you feel about your year, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and also don't forget to comment. Until next year, I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao.